Welcome to Premier 7. I am your host, Ryan Nelson. This video is a mixture of the English Premier League transfer in the form of a discussion, as well as Jamaica versus Dominica match preview. People, as you can see behind me, this is a new background, and I am hoping that you all enjoy what you're seeing. So stick around as I will be on board with the details. Yes, so if you are new to Premier 7, please go ahead and subscribe. If you are already a subscriber of the channel, you know what to do. Watch, like, comment, and share the content so other persons can see it. I was talking earlier on about my background. This is a new look for the channel, and I am hoping that for now and beyond, this background can be one for which I will utilize for more than just the norm. Look at this. You're seeing the Premier 7 sign here, and you're seeing the football that is speaking directly about FIFA, even though this is a mixture of both the EPL transfer discussion and Jamaica versus Dominica match preview. So, where should I start? Let me get the EPL segment out of the way, and then I will jump right into the Jamaica versus Dominica match preview. I hope that you all are hearing me because I don't want to have any audio issues while I am doing my presentation. So I am seeing that some persons are just joining in. I do appreciate your support. I do appreciate the incomings of persons who are watching Premier 7 at the moment. And this wasn't introduced. This is a representation of the Jamaica men's national team. But I know you guys should understand that I am most times wearing this hat since recently because of the reggae boys. All right. So, EPL transfer discussion. This will be the case of just talking about a few transfer news that is taking place surrounding the teams that finished in the top 7 of the English Premier League last season. If you know, or if you haven't known, this was what built Premier 7 initially. Premier 7 was all about the top 7 teams in the Premier League, and by extension, I add information surrounding the Reggae Boys, the Reggae Girls, and little about the Jamaican Premier League. So let me just bring across the top 7 teams that finished in the Premier League last season. And some big names will not be there. But I mean, it is just a part of what it is. So for the English Premier League last season, the top 7 teams were Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Tottenham. I think Chelsea is not in the top 7 anymore now. But then again, we're working with the table. Chelsea and Newcastle. Manchester United, hell no. You are not in the top 7 this time around. So, of course, before I jump into the details to be shared, I have to say congrats to Manchester City yet again for winning the English Premier League title. I mean, a lot of persons would be saying that Manchester City are a banter club and, they have been doing a lot of slackness behind the scenes. But, I mean, if it was that case fully, then I think anyone who was putting them in their place or making any sort of corrections before should have go ahead and put Man City away instead of allowing for them to win 4 Premier Leagues in a row. All right, so let's start off with Manchester City. So, based on my knowledge, I have seen a news today, or also I have been seeing some updates surrounding Edison, yes, the goalkeeper of Manchester City. And, the second goalkeeper in Ortega, it was said that for Ortega, he has renewed his contract, I think, by 1 year. And he wants some more game time because it doesn't make any sense for which you're representing a club. You have played in some crucial matches and you're not receiving any games. So because Edison has won almost everything for Manchester City, you know how Manchester City has operated. If all goes well and a good deal comes in for him, then he will be shown the door, whereas somebody else will be recruited. I am not sure if a better goalkeeper will come in to replace a Edison, but Ortega wants to get some more game time. So, as I've said before, if all goes well in regards to such transfer details and decisions, then Edison will be out and Ortega will be the number one goalkeeper. But who will come in to replace him? Let's wait on that within a few more days to come. Julian Alvarez, will he be the man to still remain at Manchester City? Possibly not, because everyone wants to play first hand football, even though he was a very decent second hand striker behind Erling Haaland, who has done phenomenally well within his 2 seasons at Man City. I think it will be time for Alvarez to make up his mind in some days to come, looking forward to go to another club, whereas he will get a chance to play more often as a leading striker for a different club. So just two news to share on Manchester City in regards to uh, Edison and Ortega debate as to if Edison will stay and Ortega remain as the second best goalkeeper, or Edison will go and Ortega will become the number one. And there are news that surrounds a Julian Alvarez. But people, do you think that Erling Haaland should remain at Manchester City though? Do you think that Erling Haaland should make up his mind and go to a Barcelona and make the competition between themselves become a bit between himself and Mbappe becomes very much fire, because we all know that Messi and Ronaldo held up the La Liga competition for quite a number of years. So Mbappe and a Erling Haaland could be that ideal new presence in regards to who is better and give back that boost to the La Liga competition, because it's all about the Premier League right now. La Liga isn't firing as before, but you never know what happens. Erling Haaland may just do another season, or let's say he may just go, but it is still early days in the Premier League transfer window. Now, for a Arsenal, there is a lot of Gunners fans located in my country here, Jamaica, that is. Some of the YouTubers of which I am featured on their platforms or I watch their platforms, there are a lot of Arsenal fans there. And they have finished second again. So sad. But is the upcoming season for Arsenal this time around? Well, let's see what the transfer window brings across. But I know that a player in Benjamin Sesko has been linked with Arsenal. Arsenal is in need of a striker. Um, Gabriel Jesus did not work out so well because of his injury conditions. A very decent striker who can play on different ends of the pitch. But Arsenal needs what would I say now, a front runner as a striker. A pivotal striker who will just stay there as that is his main position. And if they can get in a Benjamin Sesko who has scored in excess of 10 goals last season or the season before for his club, then I think he will do a good job for Arsenal. What do you think about that? Because Arsenal is more so in need of a striker than to say a a right winger, or a left winger. And as I've said before, a Benjamin Sesko could be an ideal striker. But you know the guy who plays for Benfica by the name of, I think his name is Gorkares, who has scored a lot of goals in the Portuguese league. He should look to move forward to get into a different club. And I think Arsenal could be ideal for him. So that is like two good options for Arsenal. But only what they can bring to the table to convince those players or either of each players to come to the club will be up for discussion. So in the midfield, Thomas Partey, I know that he will not be at the club any longer. He should be shown the door, having played not much games for the Gunners, but honestly speaking, he has done fairly well during his career at Arsenal. However, I think Arsenal needs an upgrade. I am seeing whereas the club has been linked to a Fofana from Monaco, they have also been in talk with, or let's say rumors have been shared about a Joao Neves who plays for Benfica, but his release clause is in excess of £100 million. Just like a Declan Rice who was somewhat there before, I think he did excellent for Arsenal within his first season. So I think if Arsenal wants to go all the way to win the Premier League this time, they have to bring in a proper replacement for a Thomas Partey. And whereas the goalkeeper is concerned, David Raya is going to be the ideal goalkeeper for Arsenal, seeing how fantastic he has played for the Gunners. So we can expect for him to become a permanent transfer for Arsenal. All right. So what do you think about Liverpool? Because Liverpool finished third in the Premier League last season, which was a disappointing dip because I was thinking that Liverpool had a better chance to go all the way based on how they were performing. You know, they fell a bit, but they pick up their pace, gained some consistency. Some big names came back, but it went downhill. I think many persons would be blaming Manchester United from the time they played against Liverpool. That was where all things went up downhill. Liverpool starts to draw games, starts to not gain the 3 points convincingly to help them to reach that level. And we know that Slot is now the new manager of Liverpool. What can he bring to the club? Klopp had left a legacy at Merseyside, and the new coach has to come in and, what would I say now, hit the ground running same time. But one of my friends mentioned that um, it is the season for ballad coaches because Pep is at Man City. Hopefully, Ten Hag stays at Manchester United, and now Slot. And Chelsea has a ballad coach as well. So that is four. So let's talk about the transfer, of course, for Liverpool because Liverpool would need some help where it is concerned, where a DM is considered. And Edison from the Brazilian League, who is a very decent DM, is in the market to become one of the ideal players who can go into the English Premier League. But would Liverpool fans want for Edison to be at Liverpool? The midfield is not bad, but they need that DM. Endo did a bad job, but Liverpool needs some more depth. Whereas, like say, a starting DM will be of importance, then you have like a second-handed CDM to come in and to play that role if anything happens to the first choice. What about Salah? Will Salah be leaving Liverpool and going to the Saudi Arabia? Still early days, but Liverpool needs to boost up their squad because I mean they have to do better next season and finishing third wasn't a bad spot, but Liverpool needs more than just to finish third because I thought Liverpool would have won a title last time, but nothing went into their favor. Even Manchester United has won an FA Cup, and to play within a season and not win anything, I think it's not a good season based on trophy collections. But it is decent whereas Champions League qualification is concerned. But Liverpool needs to do more for themselves. So, as I've said before, it is still early days where the Premier League is considered, and I am hoping to see some good news, whereas the transfer window is concerned for the other teams. Now, for Aston Villa, they have made it back to the Champions League, and boy oh boy, absolutely phenomenal. Leon Bailey is a Jamaican, as you can see the Jamaican representation here. I have to say a shout out to him. His performances was amazing for Aston Villa. Aston Villa has made it into the Champions League thanks to his help and other person's help. So at the end of the day, they need some players who would help them to go forward. But who are they looking to get? Because I'm seeing here that Conor Gallagher stands on Chelsea exit amid Tottenham and Aston Villa transfer interest. So is it a case in which Aston Villa can go for a Conor Gallagher? I think they need some more of a Conor Gallagher type of personality in the midfield, somebody who can run at defenders, who can, I wouldn't say is the best control of the game, but somebody who can create chances. You have a McGinn, you have a Douglas Luiz, I think a Jacob Ramsey plays in the midfield as well. A Conor Gallagher can be an upgrade for Aston Villa's midfield. And I was seeing the news earlier on, whereas they were looking at a Tobido who plays for Nice. That would be an excellent transfer based on how well Tobido has performed. So far, so good in the French league. But it may not be a rumor because you know how some teams are very good in terms of getting players in. So, as I've said earlier on, it is still early days in the transfer window, but I'm just giving you some fast and some quick updates, whereas the eye should be open around players who could be moving into the transfer window to a different club. So, what is happening for Spurs? Because Spurs kicked off the season so well and they end up finishing fifth. They end up finishing fifth. But before I talk about Tottenham Hotspur's people, if you are watching the channel right now, please do me a favor and subscribe to Premier 7, turn on the notifications bell for the latest news and updates, and smash a like on the video so that YouTube can push the video out there and out there so that other persons can see what is taking place on the platform. Because I've done some videos before and I'm seeing whereas my videos aren't reaching to the level which I thought they should have reached, but I'm still here doing what I have to do because I love to present YouTube football news to you, the fans who are in demand of such important details. So for Spurs, who will they bring in? Who will they bring in? Well, I'm sure that Spurs think about releasing at least 4 players. So with 4 players out for Ange, he will receive some money to bring in some players. Some incomings because they need to boost their squad. And I think Spurs is like this team for which you thought is going to do well and then they fail. I don't want to call Spurs a flop because I may have Spurs fans right here listening to the stream and I don't want to upset anybody, but Spurs can do better. When I was speaking to a friend recently, he was saying that, well, one of my friends was speaking to one of his friends and he was talking about Tottenham Spurs. And one of the Spurs fans mentioned that the club needs an overall change. They need a new squad in all its entirety. So I guess let him say that, but not me. But Spurs need some update and some upgrade, whereas dominance is concerned. And I think they're linked to a, a player from Fulham who plays in the midfield. I think it's John Pereira. Pereira. Is Pereira an ideal option for Spurs? Maybe. Maybe because, Madison is never the player who you can rely on to play an entire season. So you need a backup player who can play behind him just in case of anything happens. But whereas flexibility is concerned as well, whereas formation changes is considered, then Point Akango can think about doing something in that case. All right, so nothing much to jump at us about Tottenham Spurs, but they are there. They are there. because they have finished fifth in the Premier League. But let's go to Chelsea. It has been a very long time I haven't spoken about Chelsea. If I even spoke about Chelsea before. Yes, I did. I talked about Conte when he left Chelsea. I talked about Mason Mount moving from Chelsea. So the videos are there to share. But the big news about Chelsea today is that Olise is one of their prime targets. Olise is one of the brightest talent right now in the English Premier League, was done fairly well for Crystal Palace in the last season, and he's one of the hot topics, whereas Chelsea was linked with him last season, but he remained at Crystal Palace, keeping his contract, and now he has been on their books again. But teams like Manchester United is in the talks for getting in an Olise, who is valued in excess of £50 million. Injury prone, some persons would say, but I think if he is on his game with the experience in the Premier League, he will do fairly well. So, not only Olise is a target though, but one of the players who came into Chelsea is Tosin from Fulham. He is a centre back who is a free transfer. So, with Thiago Silva leaving Chelsea at the end of the season, they had to replace him. But I don't think Tosin is on the level of a Thiago Silva, but Tosin is in the Chelsea's club as a new player. And let's say Chelsea has got something done before, so it isn't a bad or a downhearted feeling because Chelsea has brought in a new centre back. But maybe not the ideal centre back for which Chelsea fans would have wanted. But let's see what the new manager will be doing at the end of the day, because Chelsea needs to do better than how they are performing. But it was surprising for them though to finish sixth in the Premier League, because no one was thinking that they would have reached so far. But the man himself, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer, Cole Palmer, Cole Palmer. Manchester City, I don't think they regretted selling him, but Cole Palmer did absolutely fantastic in his first season playing for a Chelsea. And lastly on the list here would be a Newcastle. Newcastle. What is there for Newcastle to share? Because you see Spurs, Newcastle and Arsenal, they start off very well in the Premier League, and when push come to shove, only Arsenal remained up there in the top four. Newcastle slide down the ground, and they finished outside of the top six. But Bruno Guimaraes is a player for which maybe leaving a Tottenham, and there could be other clubs that is up for grabs for such a talented midfield player. A talented midfield player in Bruno Guimaraes could go to like a Liverpool if Liverpool don't get a Ederson. And I think persons who did fairly well, whereas the Premier League is considered, should be ideal than just to look outside of the Premier League to get new players. Maybe other persons could be thinking otherwise, but for me personally, once players has done in excess of two seasons for a particular club, let's say Declan Rice at West Ham, who is now at Arsenal, then based on how consistent they have been playing for their respective club, then to transfer them to a bigger club should be on the books. So a top six team should look to get a player, for example, an Olise, going to an upgraded team apart from staying at Crystal Palace, having been there for more than 1 to 2 years. All right, so with that part being said, Bruno Guimaraes could be out, but the price tag will not be as expensive of the English-based players. But let's see what the coming days will bring whereas transfer is concerned. Now, for the big part of the video, Jamaica versus Dominica. Jamaica versus Dominica match preview. But before I jump onto such details discussion, people, again, I'm asking for a favor for you to smash the subscription button and share the video with persons so that persons can get some recognition on the YouTube platform. I think I'm a decent YouTube content creator and presenter as well, so it is for you to help my video to go along. So Jamaica will be playing against Dominica tomorrow, but it will not be played at the Independence Park. It will be played elsewhere, 2 p.m. Jamaica time. So far, Jamaica has won one game out of one, which is ideal, which is very good. And Dominica was hit for six against Guatemala. So far, I think Jamaica should brush aside this team. Jamaica is in Group Group E, so it is for Jamaica to claim their spot, man, own up things, and lead the way and get another point, 3 points in the bag. So you can see the table right there, for which Jamaica is second to Guatemala. The Dominican Republic, they lost today against Guatemala 3-0. And you have British Virgin Island, who is there as well, and Dominica was there. But no, that is not correct. Dominican Republic only played one game, so Guatemala played against British Virgin Island, who lost 3-0 today. So Guatemala is playing phenomenally well, and it's for Jamaica now to step up on the plate and hit Dominica for 4 runs or 6 runs. And if they want to go more than that, Jamaican fans would have really appreciated such occurrences. So, I mean, Jamaica did not play exceptionally well though against the Dominican Republic, but it is just one of those games so which we can say the ball is round and may the best team win. Because positional base, Jamaica is ranked way above Dominica Republic and even Dominica. But Jamaica did not play well, as many persons would have seen if they were watching the game or even the highlights. So Jamaica has to step up the plate, regardless of those who are injured. Coach Al Grimson has to have a system that is necessary to accept and accommodate all of those incoming players that the national team will need. Because without a system, you cannot just throw players out there to play. If you don't have your best of the best players, then the national team will underperform. And we want to go to World Cup. We're in an easier group compared to many others. So I think with the qualification being in favor of, like, say, United States, Canada, and Mexico automatically qualifying for the FIFA World Cup for 2026, Jamaica should and must and AFI make it their priority to go into the World Cup of 2026. So, I mean, there has been a lot that was being said about Jamaica in the recent days, so which they won against Dominica 1-0. But as I've said earlier on, it is what it is. The game has passed, and we wanted for Jamaica to do better, but it has passed. So we just have to hope for the best. We just have to wish Jamaica the best for Sunday to see if they will be performing way better than the norm. So I don't think there's any changes that will be done really and truly to the national team. If that is the case, then I think maybe a Daniel Johnson would be on the bench and like a Anderson will start for the national team, right? Because Daniel Johnson did not play well. But then again, it boils down to even the tactics that the coach was utilizing, because Mikel Antonio was playing a deep line, like a false nine, and that did not work well. And I thought Mikel Antonio will be not playing tomorrow. So then again, it's another blow for Jamaica. But you have other persons who can come through and get a chance, like a Fabian Reed. So people, I won't be staying any longer here. I just come on board with something new, speaking about the English Premier League transfer discussion, and for Jamaica versus Dominican Republic. Jamaica versus Dominica match preview. So I will be off. I have some things to do thereafter. So I just want for you, the people who have been here, to become engage with what was being done. You can drop your comment, you can share the video content, you can do all of those important things, whereas the video presentation is concerned. So, people, it is now my time to go. I am hoping and pleading that you guys will comment on this video and share the content as well, so that YouTube can finally recognize what I'm doing here and give me some ratings. So, it is time for me to go. Take care and goodbye for now.